It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the St. Edwards Hilltoppers assistant track and field coach for Coach Linsey Montgomery. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you want to get started in coaching in college track and field?
Yeah, so actually, I didn't know that I was going to be going into collegiate coaching. When I was in college, actually, I was kind of all over the place as far as just like what I wanted to do as a career. I knew I wanted to do something in sports. I thought about doing athletic training or, maybe just going the easy route. I feel like everyone chooses business. But I actually started to get into coaching because I was helping out with my summer track club at the time. And at that time, I wanted to see actually my younger sister, she runs track too, and she's pretty good. And at that time, that was her last year running summer track, and I just wanted to support her without sitting in the bleachers. And so I was like, you know what? I'll go out there and I will. I'm so sorry. That's a alert. um, I just wanted to go and support her. And so I asked the coaches if I could come and sign up and just be out there to just help and coach and learn. And they were like, yeah, that'd be awesome. We could always use extra help. And I was like, great, and I was telling them, yeah, like, I want to work with Jasmine. They're like, oh, no, we're going to put you with the 8-year-olds. And I was like, wait, what? And I was like, well, I don't know about that. And I actually ended up falling in love with it. And that was when I first, actually wanted to get into coaching, was that moment. And I didn't even coach Jasmine. That's my younger sister's name. I watched her, but I ended up working with a completely different age group. And that's when I knew that I wanted to do this for a long time. And so I did want to go into the collegiate realm just because I like working with that age group. I think they're a really great age group, and I mentor and do different things like that. But I actually didn't realize I wanted to do that until when I graduated college. So it was kind of a long buildup. I was going to start out with high school, maybe middle school, and then like work my way up. But I kind of like just jumped the gun, and I was able to get a volunteer position at the University of Oregon, and that's kind of what jump started that. So from then on, I've been coaching collegiate, which it's been a lot of fun.
What was that experience like going to Dallas Baptist and getting to compete in track and field?
Yeah, it was awesome. I'm probably gonna get some. It's funny because St. Edwards is in the same conference as DBU, and so it's really funny because obviously my athletes, it's a friendly rivalry, and I love it, and I encourage them to do it because it's fun. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time at DBU. I met some of my lifelong friends there. The campus is gorgeous. When the time that I was there at DBU, the program was just starting up. And so I got to be one of those people that kind of the foundational people for the program to kind of take off and become what it is now. And so that's been a really great experience. And I mean, to just be a collegiate athlete, just in general, is a blessing. So I was really thankful to be able to do it, not just at that level, but at Dallas Baptist. So that was really a great experience for me.
How is that feeling like for you getting to put on that uniform and representing Dallas Baptist?
It was great. It was a lot. I think that just kind of what I was hinting to earlier, just to be able to say I was a collegiate athlete is just an accomplishment in itself. And, we take a lot of pride in our teams, that we run for. And so I had a lot of pride to run for Dallas Baptist at that time. And it was a great experience. I enjoyed it. I broke some school records, which is fun. Like I said, I met my lifelong friends there that I still talk to this day. And so, DBU has shaped me into the woman that I am today. So that experience and being able to compete at that level, I'll definitely cherish that time running at DBU. So
What was that feeling like setting those records, and do you still hold those records to this day?
I do still hold the record. Maybe it'll get broken someday, but it was a exhilarating experience. I actually didn't know that I broke it was a 60-meter record. I didn't know that I broke it until one of my friends came up to me and they were like, "You broke it, you broke it." And I was like, "What?" So it was super exciting. I know I didn't have that goal of like, oh, I'm going to break the school record. I was just like, I just want to run fast and, the time will reflect that. And I got to break it, thankfully, before COVID happened. So COVID unfortunately took away my last season. But, I feel like that was like a really nice little gift from the Lord to just give me that record title in the 60s. So I have a ton of great pictures from that. I watch the video sometimes. It was a great experience.
Coming out of college, what was that experience like getting into the volunteer assistant and coaching at Oregon?
So that was great. I mentioned my younger sister, Jasmine, earlier, but we actually went up there together. She was a freshman at the University of Oregon. So we both got to experience that together while I was a volunteer coach and she was obviously competing for U of O at that time. It was great. I learned a lot. I was mentored by Coach Curtis. He was the sprints and hurdles coach. And, he would challenge me to write up workouts and, do different things like that. I'd be at all the practices. I traveled with them, which was a lot of fun. And, honestly, like that time period was really great for me because I got to learn how to structure workouts. And that was the one thing that I was really kind of like struggling with. I didn't really know like how to put workouts where they should be and how to peak the athletes and different things like that at different times, at different meets. And so Coach Curtis taught me a lot in that, and I will definitely cherish that experience. And it was a lot of fun. I got to experience them winning Pac-12s, so that was fun. Obviously, Nationals was at U of O, so that was super easy and fun because we got to host, obviously. But I think the most rewarding thing about that experience was getting to see my sister, develop underneath that program while I was there, and so that was a year that I'll definitely not forget. And it was a great stepping stone for my career.
As a coach, what was it like going to Oregon and learning under a program that's a historical program in track and field?
Yeah, no, it was great. Like I said before, I really just wanted to know like how to structure a program and, kind of similar to how Oregon was, not just besides learning to structure the program, but just knowing the ins and outs of like, Division I and being like, at the top and things like that, knowing like, okay, like this is what D1 is like, this is what to expect. These are the level of competition, things like that. And coming from DBU, which was D2, I was like, obviously there's some things that are different. We don't have regionals or things like that in D2. It's just by ranking. And then obviously D1 has like regionals and things like that to go to nationals. And so there's a lot of different things. And obviously, D3 and AIA JUCO, they all have different levels, but at the end of the day, honestly, the one thing that I learned was that if you're fast, you're fast. So, different divisions and maybe schools and conferences might be better for you depending on what kind of runner or athlete you are. But it was a great experience to just see what it was like to be at the top and then kind of just determine like what level I want to be at and, what kind of coach I want to be. Because, at that time I was still kind of figuring it out. Obviously, I was a sprinter for DBU, but, I was like, do I want to be a sprints coach? Do I want to be just a hurdles coach? Do I want to be known for the long sprints, the short sprints? I was kind of figuring that out too. So that was a great year to figure all of that out and then kind of move forward from there.
Going to Randolph, what was that like being their assistant coach?
Oh yeah, the Randolph Roadrunners. So that was where it all started. That was when that was my first time actually like coaching and, teaching those those young boys and girls how to run track, just getting them to do a lap around the track for me. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was when I kind of discovered that I have that gift for coaching and that I really wanted to do it long term or as long as I could. But that was a really fun experience for me. I got to run for that club too. So I was already familiar with all the coaches and everyone there. So it was a really fun and easy transition for me. I still talk to those coaches today. They still follow my coaching career and my sister's running career. So it was a great experience. I really enjoyed the Randolph Roadrunners Track Club in San Antonio.
What were some of the things that you learned throughout your coaching journey to help you along your way to get to St. Edwards?
Oh, say that one more time.
What were some of the things that you learned throughout your coaching career to help you along your way to get to St. Edwards?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I would say not to be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to try new things. With being a track and field coach, we're dealing with a lot of things. I mean, it's you against the clock. It's you against other runners. It's a mental sport. So there's a lot of things that go into being successful. The one thing I would say that I think I loosened up a lot about is, just trying to make sure, just trying new things, trying new workouts, not being afraid to, make a mistake because obviously, there's not going to be a perfect workout, a perfect program. You have to be willing to try new things. And to do that, you just have to try it out yourself. There's a lot of workouts that I've tried before I gave it to the athletes. And I was like, okay, this is going to work. Or I will go ask like other coaches and be like, hey, like, so what do you think about this? Or I'll send videos or like, just asking for help. That's another thing too, that, not being afraid to ask for help. And so I think that was the one thing that I would say that's been really helpful in my career. Cause obviously, I went to U of O for that year and I was just digging in and learning and just asking a bunch of questions. And, I learned a lot from that and it changed a lot of like my perspective and things like, oh, I should probably not do this because, that might be too much, or, oh, maybe I should add in a lot more drills like this, or, these are some really good coaching cues that I could use for my future athletes or different things like that. So just learning to adapt, ask questions, not being afraid to try things. So.
What was that feeling like for you stepping onto the track field for the first time as an assistant coach at St. Edwards?
So I'm gonna be honest, it was a good transition. I was excited to be a part of St. Edwards. It's honestly, I would say that the transition was pretty easy. I thought that it was going to take me some time to get used to it, and to learn the athletes because I was coming into a program where I didn't recruit any of the kids. So I was just like the newbie. So I had to learn like everybody's name, like what they did. And, I was the jumps coach. And so I had like two jumpers. So it was just me and them against everybody else. But it was a lot of, these kids are awesome. And I shouldn't say kids, they're young adults. They're awesome. They welcomed me in like I was always there with them. It's in Texas. I'm from Texas. So to move back here to Austin was really easy for me. I was really looking forward to that. The colors aren't really as much different from DBU. I just don't have red this time. So it was really easy. I was really thankful for the easy transition to St. Edwards, and they were super excited about me. I was excited about them, and the staff is really fun to work with. We all have a great time. We cut up a lot, and same with the team. So I'm really excited to see like what St. Edwards is going to do from this year and beyond. So.
What does a typical track meet look like for you as a coach versus for your athletes?
Well, I'm not sweaty as much as they are, but honestly, a typical track meet, I mean, it depends, but since I'm the jumps coach, usually our event goes first. So a lot of it is just kind of just making sure that my athlete is ready to go and feeling poppy, explosive, making sure that they're hydrated, they feel good. They got all their tape on, making sure they don't forget their spikes. They got their uniform. all that good stuff. But usually the jumps is first. And so he'll warm up. One of my jumpers, he warms up for an hour. He does long and triple. I sometimes watch him go through the warm up. Sometimes I don't, just to give him that space to just like get mentally ready. And then we do run throughs on the runway, making sure that he's on the board, full foot on the board, making sure that he feels good. He does some continuous pop-ups, things like that. He'll do short approaches before it's time to compete. And then, once it's time to go, he goes for it. I tell him if he's on or if he's off, or I make sure that I correct him with his takeoff or his landing or different things like that. But that's what a typical like jumper's day might look like for him. For the sprints, if we are doing relays or different things like that, same thing, they'll warm up for an hour. We might do some starts, we might do some handoffs, different things like that. The jumps goes a little bit longer than the sprints. I can't exactly critique them during a race because they're obviously running, but with jumps, I can critique them for every jump. So he's hearing me say what I need to correct or help him with for each jump. Whereas the sprinters, if they have a bad race or a good race, they won't know until at the end of the race. So that's kind of what a typical day might look like. And it might be a longer day or a shorter day, depending on the meet that we're at, but it's an all day thing. So my jumper might jump at 11 and then he'll get like maybe an hour or two break and then he'll jump again at like 2. The sprinters, depending on what events they're doing, they might run at like 1 o'clock and then they might run again at like 2. So it just depends on what the day is looking like and what events they're doing. But I'm on my feet walking around, talking to people, making sure that everyone's good to go for basically the whole day. So that's what a typical day would look like for me and for the athletes. Maybe, you come out to a track meet and see for yourself, unless, I know track meets can come across as kind of boring, but, when you have skin in the game, it's a lot of fun.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against?
So we compete against DBU, of course. We compete against West Texas A&M, A&M Kingsville, Eastern New Mexico. I'm trying to think. UT Tyler. I know I'm missing a few people. Oh, Oklahoma Christian. Man, we just had conference too, so I hope I'm not forgetting somebody. But Angelo State. Yeah, so we compete against some really good programs. So
what is that experience like, getting to compete at home versus people like UT Tyler, Dallas Baptist, and Texas A&M versus going away and competing against other teams like Texas Women's College?
Yeah, so I mean, we love the competition. I mean, honestly, if we could compete at places like A&M or going to, I'm trying to think of some really well-known names, Texas Tech, schools like that, we welcome it. We want to go to those big meets and, compete because we have people that can compete with those people. So compared to the people in our conference, they're just as competitive, they're just as good. So honestly, we just want to be with schools that are competitive and that are going to push us, and we push them. So to me, it doesn't really matter what meets we go to, as long as we are competing against people that are either at our level or better. And it's always great to compete against a conference school because we're going to see them at least twice in the year if we don't see them throughout in regular season. But I'm sorry. But yeah, it's always great to compete against our conference schools and then schools outside of our conference. Honestly, I think that it's a lot of fun, and it makes it exciting whenever we beat some big schools. So, but yeah, I enjoy it, and I know that they do too, because it just creates that more of that student athlete experience for them.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've started to help to build for the track program?
Yeah, so it wasn't just me, it was me, Coach Morgan, he's the sprints and hurdles coach, and then Coach Carey, he's the head cross country and track and field coach. And we actually sat down, all 3 of us together at the beginning of the season, and we came up with some core values for our team and our mission statement and our core our purpose statement as well. And we really, really hone in on those things. And that's honestly what's helped shape the culture of our team. I won't name all of the core values because it's a lot, but whenever I'm talking to a recruit, we always say like, yeah, we're looking for people that have these core values, which is, like integrity, honor, respect, people that have good grades, that care about their academics, because we really emphasize that here at St. Edwards. But we really, really wanted to make sure that we made a point with that with our current team, because that's what we want to represent for not just like our athletic department, but when other teams see us like at meets and different things like that, we want to embody those core values that we've instilled in them. So honestly, having that plan of action and just having those core values like printed out and put it, and we, set in team meetings and different things like that has really helped shape our culture here at St. Edwards. So, I think that that's kind of like what's been guiding us, and it's been proven successful. Our team has the highest GPA in the athletic department, which is great. We have some really, really great student athletes, like I mentioned. They're a really great group. And we want to continue to bring on more people just like that and just keep building. So
what does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes, and as a coach, what do you look at in them?
So yeah, we look for those core values. We obviously look at times and marks because we do have standards. We have walk-on standards and we have scholarship consideration standards. So obviously we won't know who this kid is until we get on the phone with them, or if they come to campus and they meet us. But just off of just initial, just standard recruiting, we just go off of times and marks. And then, if they hit our standards for our team, then, we'll set up a time to chat with them. And then it's just a conversation just like this. I ask them, what they're looking for in a team, what they're looking for in school. Do they want to be close to home or far from home? What they want to study, things like that, just kind of getting a feel for them. And then, we lay out our core values and we tell them like what we look for and what our expectations are. And if they meet those, and those might be the place for them. And then, if they want to come on campus and meet us and meet the team, then we'll set that up too. But that's really what we look for whenever we're doing our recruiting process. So it's pretty thorough on purpose, because we want to bring in really quality athletes. And so we do our best to kind of like, not just look for the person that's running the fastest times, but they also have really great character too, because that's what's going to be sustaining too when they're just spending time here on campus and they're interacting with our team and with others on campus. So
as a coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that St. Edwards jersey for the first time versus your seniors putting it on for the last time?
Oh, it's nice. I mean, for the seniors, it's bittersweet, of course, because we're going to miss our seniors and we love them. And, they've done so much to help elevate our program. But for the freshmen, it's exciting because this is their first time in a collegiate meet. Most of them are sometimes pretty nervous, but once they get that first race or that first jump out, they're good to go and they're looking forward to the rest of the season. But it's mixed emotions, because for the senior, you don't want them to leave because you built that relationship with them. But for the freshmen, they're just getting started. It's just the beginning. So you're excited to see their progression until they become also that senior. So
as a coach so far, what have been some of your biggest accomplishments at St. Edwards, and what are some of your future plans?
So I would say, I mean, my biggest accomplishment, I've only been here for a couple months. So, I would say probably just the culture and then, just really, trying to like build this program up, with the jumps. I mean, I have a really exciting recruiting class coming in. And so, I joke around with, my coworkers and also with the student athletes, it's going to become St. Rogers is going to become Jump U soon next year. So I'm really excited about the jumpers that are going to be coming in next year. And then they also sprint too. So they're going to contribute with the sprints and hurdles crew. And so I'm excited about that. I already mentioned the culture, but I'm excited to see like how the culture continues to grow. and how we become, known not just for distance, but for, the jumps and the sprints and the hurdles. I'm very thankful that I get to contribute and be a part of that. And then I would say too, like, I'm very, very thankful that the one jumper that I had qualified for conference for indoor. And so I'm thankful that he did a great job, and he is super coachable, great listener, super talented. So, this is just the beginning for him. He's a true freshman. So, the goal is to obviously jump further and to do well at outdoor conference coming up in May. But yeah, I'm excited for him, and it's been a lot of fun to see him develop and to see all the other athletes develop as well. Because like I said, I do help with the sprints a little bit too. So I build relationship with them, and we are working on our relay right now, trying to get that down, shave that down. One of our seniors, she ran a fantastic 400 this past weekend, and she has a school record now. So that was awesome in the first meet. So we're really doing really great things down here. So I'm excited to continue that success and with this team. So
what advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college track and field?
I would say don't put so much pressure on yourself. I feel like a lot of freshmen, they come in and they think that they got to make their mark like immediately. And some do, and that's awesome. But what the ones that sometimes put too much pressure on themselves to be great right away, like as coaches, we're not expecting that. We just want them to progress and to do well. And you only got to run that fast time once, or jump that big jump once, and then you keep building from there. But not to put so much pressure on themselves to have like these perfect meets every single time, because that's just not the reality, and that's just not track and field reality. But to also enjoy it too, because speaking from a collegiate athlete, it goes by super, super fast. So to just really enjoy it, and to just be thankful that you get to, run or jump or compete, because not a lot of people get to say that they're collegiate athletes. So that's what I would suggest and say to them.
What advice would you give those seniors that have aspirations of competing professionally?
Yeah, I would say that you're going to have to do all the little things. You're going to have to stay on top of your nutrition and your sleep, and you're going to have to probably sacrifice a lot, just like doing the little extra stuff that probably not the normal, I guess, person would do. And obviously being a professional athlete is a really big deal and a big job, and a lot of people want to do that. But I would say too, like, if it's in you to be a professional athlete, it's going to happen for you. Obviously you got to put in the work for it. But if that is inside of you, if for a lady, if sub 11 is in you, it's going to come out. For a guy, if sub 10 is in you, then it's going to come out. Surround yourself with really great support system, coaches, family, friends, if you have that dream. And I would say that you really got to hone in on all the little things, because all those things matter if you want to be at that elite level.
What advice would you give those future college coaches looking to get started in the industry?
Yeah, I would say reach out to college coaches. Honestly, don't be nervous to shoot them an email, or send them a DM on Instagram. Obviously us coaches are pretty busy, but the right coach might reach back out to you and be like, oh yeah, I'd love to talk with you and help you figure out like what you want to do, ask you the right questions. My journey was a little bit different. I obviously got opened up a huge door for me. So that was awesome. I was not expecting that door to open and for me to be able to get to where I am like right now. But, my initial plan was I was going to start out at high school and then move up. So I would say that would be a great place to start, just so then you can try out your workouts and try out things with, high schoolers, and then kind of move up from there. Because once you get into college, it's a little bit different. You can't just tell a college athlete, to go run like 10 300s and expect them to do really well. There's got to be some intentionality behind what you do. So when you're at lower levels, like middle school, high school, you can try different things. And then when you see them progress and you see them do well, you're like, oh, I'm gonna keep that workout. Or, oh, I don't like that workout. They didn't really seem to take to that. I didn't really see results from that. So I would say start out small and then, build up big, and then, make connections with other coaches too, because they might see a job that you don't know about and they say, hey, I think you'd be a really great coach here. I think this would be a really great start for you. So that's my advice, is just start out, with some younger athletes and then move up, and then build your connections with other coaches and ask them questions, because more than likely they'll be willing to help you out, because we need more great coaches. So that's would be my advice.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the program at?
Oh, say it one more time.
Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the program at?
Oh yeah, so you can find us online. You could type in St. Edwards Athletics, and our track and field program will pop up right there. I also have my own personal Instagram as well, if people want to follow me there. It's Linsey Gabriella _ if people want to follow our team along. And we also have our own social media, Instagram and Twitter, or X, for our team as well. So it's the same, it's SEU XCTF. We have two, so it's either SEU XCTF or SEUTF XC. And you can follow our team on Instagram. I feel like that's probably the most popular, because we are more active on Instagram, but we also do send out things on X too. So I'd say those would be the things that you could follow. We don't have TikTok yet, but we might soon. I might get one of my athletes to make one, and then you could see us on TikTok too.
Thank you again, Coach, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Brandon.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.